Hey guys, Jeremy here with Akin Projects. Now, if you're anything like me, you don't like people coming over into your home and getting you estimates or quotes on projects that you are very well capable of doing yourself. So, my most recent experience with that was with a mold remediation in our basement. Now, mold is dangerous and it can cause problems to your health. And so, before moving forward, I want to make sure I'm really clear. Take this very seriously, okay? So we had 6 companies come over and they gave us quotes about $10,000. That was a lot more than I was wanting to spend. And so the reason why they do that is because they know the protocol and they take the time to make sure everything is done very well, for the most part. Okay, so I wanted to share these 10 steps with you, which I know is a lot of steps, but they're small steps, they're achievable. And I wanted to make sure it was really clear with that so you can feel comfortable moving forward. But if you're gonna be taking on this project, again, take each step very seriously. So let's go ahead and get started with step 1. So this is what we've done. We've removed all the carpet from this area. As you can kind of see, there's no baseboards or tack strips. We've removed light fixtures as well as outlet covers and all the stuff that we feel like would have been contaminated that we wanted to be out of here. We've removed all of that. So this is step 1, remove everything. All because we decided to take out the carpet doesn't mean you need to as well. So the only reason why we took out the carpet is because it was old and we're in a basement and we didn't want to have carpet in the basement. So if you choose to keep the carpet in, that is absolutely fine. But any carpet that's going to be inside of the containment area, make sure you use the same plastic as you use for the containment. So it's going to be 6 mil plastic sheeting. Just make sure you put a layer over the carpet and you tape around all of the edges so no mold spores can get into the carpet. As long as you do that, you're totally fine to continue. Now step 2 is setting up containment. So as you can see here, every space that has that plastic on the other side of it is stuff we don't want to get contaminated. So I've gone ahead and tarped all of this off and contained it. I've come in here, I've kind of made a little nook because our plan is to do some remediation in there, at least cut it open into some walls and see if there's anything. And so all of this has been tarped off. We have our HVAC system down here as well, and so I've tarped that off because I don't want any of the mold spores going in through there. I've also turned off the AC and the whole system because I didn't want to have anything getting sucked in through there. And as you can see, all the vents as well, we have tarped off. So just to make sure that there's nothing that's going to be getting anywhere else throughout the rest of the house. And so that's step 2. See that it is blowing pretty good. Now step 3 is preparing for the remediation, right? So making sure you have all the stuff you need in here, and here's going to be a list of all the items that you need, and I'll put them in the description as well. I have my vacuum that has a HEPA filter in it. I have my PPE, so I have my mask, goggles, some gloves, and a suit. I have sandpaper, a wire brush, some crowbars, razor blades, hammer. I got my pliers, and then I have my garbage bags that are 6 mil garbage bags. You want to make sure you have that to contain everything in. And then the disinfectant, this is the kind that we're using. I highly suggest it. It's a lot more safe than all of the other ones that are on the market. And then the final one is the air scrubber, which has a HEPA filter and a filter in here. So let's go ahead and get started. So
I did find a little bit of mold underneath right there. There wasn't any over there or back behind it, just a little bit right in front. So I soaked it with that solution, make sure it gets underneath and around it, and I sanded really, really good with a wire brush as well as some sandpaper. Sanded that really good, and I drenched it a couple times. I'll probably hit it again towards the end with some of that solution. And over here, I cut open the wall just to be safe to see, because we thought there might be some under there, and there wasn't any evidence of mold. There's evidence of rust, because there used to be a water softener here, and so what we did was I just cut out about the bottom couple inches over there to see if there was anything on the ground, and there wasn't anything. There was a little bit in the corner, some stuff that looked like mold, so I sprayed that, scrubbed that with a wire brush, sanded that down, and sprayed that more with some of that solution. So in there looked pretty good, and now we're going to get started up in the ceiling up there. Okay, so I cleaned this up a bit more, and now we're going to be moving on to our final area of concern. Now comes the fun part. I'm going to be demolishing those stubs that come out, these benches that come out of the wall. So what I'm going to do right now is, this door frame is pretty beat up. I don't expect to see any mold up there, but down here there was, so I'm going to remove more of that. I'm actually going to remove this door and most likely replace the whole door frame. I finished up with all the remediation. I've removed all of the mold and all of the stuff I did see or concerning areas on the framing that I wasn't able to remove. I sprayed that with the solution. I scrubbed it really good with the wire brush, sander, and opened up additional areas that I thought might be areas of concern. Didn't find too much there, but I heavily sprayed that solution on the wood and scrubbed it very, very good. And so I'm going to wait for that to dry to make sure everything looks good. Make sure that I don't need to hit it again with the sander or with that solution again. So that's going to be my next step. Step 5 is cleaning up after yourself and making sure everything is treated properly. So I'm going to start taking out all of the drywall, wood, bags that I've bagged up, any kind of garbage or leftover debris. I'm going to make sure I get all of that cleaned up. Once that's all cleaned up, then I'm going to get my HEPA vacuum and I'm going to vacuum the floors. I'm going to vacuum the walls. I'm going to vacuum the ceiling, I'm going to vacuum light fixtures, everything, and anything that you see in this room, I'm going to vacuum it with this HEPA vacuum. And then the other thing that you want to make sure you do have after you vacuum with the HEPA vacuum, you get microfiber cloths so you can wipe down the floor, the walls, the ceiling, all of the items after you hit it with that HEPA vacuum. And all this is going to be done with the air scrubber going and with the containment stuff. You don't take those down or stop the scrubber until the very, very end, which we'll get there in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started cleaning. Finished up now. I went ahead and those microfiber cloths wiped down everything in this whole space. In the closet, that bedroom, all the places I remediated, cleaned up. So everything is good. So I've disposed of that all in that big garbage bag. I'm going to take out my suit as well, throw that away. And from here, I'm going to go to step 6, which is the air scrubber, leaving this on for 2 days. So I'm going to leave this air scrubber on for 2 days, and then I'm going to do the swabbing and the testing in those areas that I remediated. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep up all the containments, and I'm going to stay out of this room for a little while that all the air is getting cleaned up. Our washing machine was going, and I just noticed we have water sagging. This was not here before. This looks like something new. So I'm gonna cut up into the wall to make sure that there's, maybe not an existing problem there. So I've got all my containments still set up, so that's pretty good. I haven't taken them down yet, so I have everything contained. I brought in my shop vac, all of the tools that I mentioned before, and my HEPA, or my air scrubber. I'm gonna be getting that out the window. So everything is there. I have my PPE on, and so we'll go ahead and cut into that and see what's in there. But the cool thing is, normally this would cost, if the company found this, even in the middle of their remediation, it'd be another $500 to $1,000. And this is essentially just my time because I already have everything. So let's get started. Okay, so I finished the remediation of this new area that I found. The other side of this wall is where that video was, but it came into the bathroom as well. This gives you a better view of the pipes that go into the liner room, and so that's why I'm over here. So we had a plumber come over, take a look at it, make sure everything is good. I've scrubbed it, did all the process in our step 4, which was the remediation, and then I've already done the cleaning of everything, the walls, the ceiling, all that stuff, HEPA vac, and then also the step 6 of air scrubbing everything in here. And so now we're moving on to step 7, which is the test results. So we got those back, everything looks good, and all the swabs that we did. We made sure we did a swab samples of those spots, not a air test, because that air test is not going to really tell us too much about what we've remediated. And so I've gone ahead and have already patched up all the spots throughout the basement. This one was a bad one, so I apologize in advance. I'll hopefully make up for it in the spackling. But everything looks good on the test, and so now we're moving on to step 8. Step 8 is removing the containments. So I've gone ahead and I've removed all the containments. It's all opened up, and we feel pretty good about the test results and all the stuff up to this point. And so we are ready for step 9. Step 9 is the cleaning of the HVAC system. I tried recording while they were here to show you what it looked like, but it was so loud you couldn't hear me talk, so I'll show a couple pictures of it. But essentially what you want to make sure they're doing is they're, number 1, cleaning out the vents and the trunk lines. Number 2, that they've created a negative air pressure before they've done any of that, and that's going to be a hose coming from the system out into their van. If they're bringing a portable unit in, I would suggest not to do that, because that's just going to recycle that bad air into the home. So you want to make sure they're creating that negative air pressure. And then the next thing is cleaning the coils, cleaning the AC unit itself. So these things get dirty really quickly, and so having them clean out the system is really important. And if you're dealing with any kind of mold, you want to make sure the last step they do is fog and sanitize essentially throughout the whole home. And so when they do that, make sure they have that negative air pressure still going, because that's going to ensure that all of that fog and all that stuff is going to kill and treat all of the mold, that bad air that might be in the vent still, and then continuing to have that negative air pressure going after they fog, so it not only kills it, but it also sucks it all out. The fog that we had them use was the exact same disinfectant that I used on the wood in the remediation throughout this video, which is that Benefect. And that's a really safe kind to use, and so I would suggest using that one as well. But that is our step 9. Okay, now for the final step. It is to put air purifiers in the home. And do your research on these and making sure that you get the ones that are best suited for you, whether it's a HEPA filter or what we've chosen to do, which we got these I don't know if you can see that, Air Oasis air purifiers that have been really good in keeping our air quality pretty healthy. And you can get these and put them throughout your house in the individual rooms, or you can get this, which is also Air Oasis, and you could install this in your HVAC system, and then what that does is it actually purifies the air in your entire home. And what this does is it essentially sanitizes the surfaces in the home, which is pretty cool. So that's what we've chosen to do. Thanks for watching the video. Hopefully this helps you out. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to reach out.
and thanks for watching.